God is good, and with each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. This is the Nathan Napalm channel, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing, especially if you're interested in Pantheon-related content, MMORPGs, RPGs, JRPGs, CRPGs, all that kind of thing. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about the Summoner, and everything we know about it so far. Now, keep in mind that this is not a full ability list. There are going to be more abilities, but this will give you a very clear picture of what it will be like to play the Summoner, and obviously help you make a decision if this is a class for you. Now, before we begin, I do want to give a big shout out to the members of Napalm. Thank you so much for your support, helping keep this channel alive. I could not do this without you. And if you're interested in becoming a member, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. Okay guys, here we go. So first up, the Summoner. It is a curious thing to reach a hand into realities other than your own. This is the art of the Summoner, whose hand then bring forth all manner of things that did not exist only moments before. The Summoner's command of arcane conjuration is unrivaled, able to bring forth sustenance, tools, barricades, weaponry, even fantastic creatures of incredible strength and ability. All this at their whim. Their group role is damage, their combat resource is mana, and their available armor is cloth and arcane shields. Their available weapons are daggers, clubs, staves, quarterstaffs, and longstaffs. Now, as far as available races that you can choose from, at least at the time of this recording, the Summoner can be a dark mer, an elf, a human, or a gnome. Lots of options here. Does seem like to me that the gnome is going to have a little bit of an advantage. Now let's talk a little bit about the Summoner and their abilities. Now once again, I have to say this is not a complete ability list, and it is worth mentioning that during your journey as you level up, it actually is possible that these could get more powerful. Now let's begin. First up, we have Mana Shield. This is where the Summoner briefly materializes a shield that absorbs a percentage of their total health in spell damage, while also making the Summoner immune to all magical effects. So pretty self-explanatory. Now normally with Mana Shield it actually absorbs, instead of being a percentage of your health, it's like takes away from your mana instead. Well, they opted to go with it being a certain percentage of your health, and that's how much you can absorb in magic damage. Now I do actually hope and think that you'll have to kind of aim that too, that, you know, you'll have to actually be facing the magic as it blasts towards you to kind of absorb it. I will see exactly how all that plays out in the end. Next up, we have Water Argumental Undyne. This is the water-based Undyne or summon that specializes in healing and restorative abilities that directly benefit the Summoner and other Argumentals. So we have our healing summon basically right here. Next up, we have the Wind Argumental Zephyr. This is the wind-based Zephyr that specializes in dealing rapid, close-range physical and nature damage to the Summoner's enemies, capable of putting enemies into a disoriented state. So this is your wind summon, meant for close-range physical nature damage, but it says it's rapid, so fast, quick burst damage sounds like to me, and also capable of putting enemies in a disoriented state, so a little bit of a debuff to the enemy as well. Next up, we have the Earth Argumental Titan. This is the Earth-based Titan, which specializes in detaining the Summoner's enemies and protecting the Summoner from harm, capable of putting enemies into a fatigued state. So Titan is more about, sounds like to me, more of a controlling, right? Like more of control of the enemy, so detaining them and protecting the Summoner from getting hurt by them. And then of course fatiguing the enemy, which, you know, just kind of goes along with detaining them, right? Next up, we have the Fire Argumental Fury. This is the fire-based Fury, which specializes in dealing powerful fire, nature, and magic damage to the Summoner's enemies, capable of pulling enemies into a burning state, which obviously would cause damage over time. So this one based on fire, nature, and of course magic damage, and of course being fire-based, I think we can get a pretty good picture of what that might look like. Next up, we have the Argumental Mastery. Now this allows the Summoner to have their Undyne active alongside them with other active Argumental. So not just one at a time, but more than one, right? Like two maybe. And so you can kind of mix and match those Argumentals or summons that I've already mentioned, and we're assuming those are the only ones, but there could be more. There could be more. But at least that's what we know so far. And next up, we have summon Argumental armor and weaponry. So the summoner is able to summon armor and weaponry that is specifically designed for their Argumentals to use in combat. Now, as the summoner grows in power, the variety and the potency of this weaponry will increase. So, of course, with the summoner, what we're feeling like here, knowing that we can at least have 2 out at a time with the Argumental Mastery, whatever level we get that, we can see that you're able to upgrade their armor and weapon as well to make them be able to take more damage, because obviously you want your Argumentals to take the damage and not yourself, the summoner. It's kind of the point, right, of a pet-based class in most scenarios. So being able to upgrade that as time goes on is definitely a plus and definitely needed, so that your Argumentals don't just end up getting one-shotted and things like that. And of course, also increasing the damage they can output as well, especially when you look at things like the Wind Argumental, for example, being a close-range physical nature damage, or the Titan, you know, being more of a defensive kind of situation for the summoner, being able to get better armor as they get further along. All right, next up we have Phase. This is where the summoner creates a dimensional pocket and slips inside of it briefly, ending combat. When the summoner emerges, the phase anomaly will have stripped the summoner of all harmful and beneficial effects. Now, we don't know how long that lasts, right? We don't know how long that the phase of the phase will be. But, however, what we do know is it says that it ends combat. So it's a very monkish, very feign death kind of situation, except for you also get the benefit of losing all the debuffs, but you're also going to lose all your buffs as well. So you're going to come out clean. No buffs, no debuffs. So I think that's interesting, and it's one of those abilities where it'll be we really got to get in the game. We really got to, people got to experiment with this a little bit. They got to see what all can be done with this, and I think we may see the summoner do some pretty crazy emergent gameplay kind of things, and people be able to really turn the summoner into their own thing because of this, and of course other things as well. So let's keep moving along. Next up we have Escape Portal. This is where the summoner creates a portal at the target location. While the portal is active, when activated, when you activate this ability again, the group will be transported through that portal to the location it was placed. So this is a way to move your entire party. Now, this is one of those abilities where BR did talk about it, and it was said, it has to be within a reasonable range, definitely within the zone, that kind of thing. So this is where you can move your entire party from one area to another, and this is to get them out of danger. I mean, this right here is some ultimate group support, right? Like, a smart summoner can go ahead and set it up so that they can move the party out of danger and get them closer to the zone line, or maybe right to the zone line, but definitely out of harm's way in a very precarious, very awful situation where they need to move, right? And then, of course, this is one of those things where summoners are going to mix and match this in ways unexpected that aren't so cut and dry to be able to do some pretty amazing things with a party. Next up, we have Summon Raft. I love these exploration type abilities, and this is one of those, and I love it. I just love this kind of stuff. So the summoner summons a raft for the group to sail on, to get in the water and just sail away. That is cool as crap. That is so freaking cool. I love it. That is awesome. So being able to travel across water at a faster speed to get to other parts of the zone. So I can just imagine jumping on a little river and just getting through the zone and getting up somewhere to the next zone line or whatever at such a fast pace, and such a cool way of doing it, of just riding on your raft along. So cool, man. There's so many cool things as they can do with this, and I just love it. I love this exploration stuff. So next up, we have Summon Wall of Wood. This is where the summoner literally summons a wall of wood to place nearby. Now, while this wall lasts, it's an immovable object that enemies must break down to pass through. It's one of those things where the super support again, where the summoner can literally make this wall, nothing can get through it. It's got to take damage, the enemy's got to break through it, and it gives you plenty of time to get the heck out of the way, or maybe just, heal yourself all the way up, or maybe raise, of course the summoner can't raise as far as we know, but for the healer to be able to raise some people who've died, all that kind of stuff, and get back and then continue journeying, or more than likely to get the heck out of there, to get the heck out of Dodge, get to that zone line, and survive a crazy situation where a giant train is on the other side of that wall, breaking it down, coming for blood. Next up we have Mana Boomerang. This is where the summoner propels a blade of mana forward and then summon it back to the summoner, so damaging all enemies it comes in contact with, right? So on its way out and its way back in. So on returning, it will restore a portion of the summoner's mana based on a percentage of the total damage dealt. So this is a really cool attack where they summon this huge blade made out of mana and they throw it forward. It just slashes through a bunch of enemies, and then on its way back it hits them again, and then the more things in its way, so the more AoE or the more damage it does as it blasts out and back, the more mana the summoner gets back. And this is one of those I just can't wait to see people using in the party and how cool it'll look, and plus it'll be regaining mana back, and that is their main, ultimate resource for Summoner 2, by the way, is mana. So very cool, very awesome. Can't wait to see it. That's just a basically awesome ability. And last but not least, we have Reciprocation. So this is where, after being struck with spell damage, the summoner creates a portal near their enemy and replicate the same effect back at them, dealing a percentage of the damage the ability dealt to you. So this is one of those like, oh, you're going to hit me with some spell? Portal, bam, spell comes out, bam, hits you for a percentage of that amount that they did to you. Now, it doesn't replace the damage that was done to the summoner. It just takes some of that and reciprocates it right back to the enemy. And I think that's a cool ability, especially for a summoner. They're summoning portals. You can summon different items and things like rafts and walls and all this kind of thing. And then also being able to kind of summon this portal to kind of be like, bam, magic back at you. I think it's pretty cool. Now, that is all the abilities we're aware of so far. What do you guys think? Now, of course, the summoner is a pet class, and in my interview, if you haven't seen that, go check it out on the channel with Ben Dean. He did mention the summoner as being one of those classes that are a little harder to make, right? So the summoner is going to take a lot more testing because it has a pet. Pet classes are just more difficult to develop, all that kind of thing. But it's a very exciting class because being able to summon things, being able to summon multiple of your summons, and then be able to create different armors and weapons for them, and then the wall ability and the raft ability and the being able to phase people around, and all these things I think are really freaking exciting. Now, I've read some people who aren't so happy with the summoner so far, or who worried about it. I've also seen some people super excited and want to know more. So where do you stand on the summoner? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you plan on playing one? What race you're going to play? Which of these abilities has you fired up? Or if you're not happy with it, explain why. Explain what you're worried about or what you don't like about the summoner, what you wish it did have. Let me know in those comments down below. And guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. That's all we know of the summoner right now. And once again, the point of these class guides is kind of to help you kind of start formulating what you want to play as, right? So as we get closer to launch, we're in the final pre-alpha here, most likely, super likely. This is the last pre-alpha. We're going to be moving into alpha, and tons, thousands more people are going to be able to play the game for the first time. And then we'll move into beta, where a crap ton of people are going to flood in. And then finally launch, where bam, the gates are open full all the way and all that kind of thing. So this does help you, I hope, decide what class you want to play. And breaking down the abilities and talking about them a little bit, put them in a little bit more easier to digest English, that kind of thing. But guys, I have videos for almost every class now. I think I only have 2 left. I think I've still got to do the Wizard and the Warrior, and I think that's it. So if you're interested in other classes, go check them out. I will have the Warrior and Wizard out soon. Hope you enjoyed the video today. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, please consider doing that. I'm trying to get to 10K here, baby. Right now, I'm a little bit over 8,000. Trying to get to 10,000 as quick as possible, because that's just a big moment in my YouTube career, hitting 10,000 subscribers. I mean, it just feels so good. Like, woo, woo, woo. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, I want to give a big shout out to the members of Napalm. You guys are really keeping this channel alive. If you only had any idea how important you are, because it allows me to turn away really crappy deals that come my way as the channel grows, because I don't need to do those kind of deals. You guys are really supporting this channel, keeping it alive. And if you're interested in becoming a member, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. And of course, guys, until next time, God bless and happy gaming. Please listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. It's a video buffet. You can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe
being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize, but just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.